What is up, everybody? Welcome to the official Food Truck Podcast. And this is our first episode, so I figured the only way to start this show, to kick this show off, would be our first guest. And it's Mike Francis. He is godfather of food in the Toledo, Ohio area. And he is also the owner of the Loaded Chicken. What's going on,
Loaded
Mike?
Chicken. What's up, Andrew?
How are you, man?
I am awesome, thank you.
Okay, so talk about your background. Anyone in the food industry knows who you are. You've been doing it for how many years?
Oh, God, without dating myself, probably about 35 years.
35 years,
Yeah.
okay? And then tell us about some of your biggest successes.
Well, I mean, we started out at Daryl's Homemade Ice Cream on LaGrange Street.
Okay.
And that's where I got my first two food trucks. Sorry,
Really?
ice cream trucks. Ice cream trucks.
Oh, okay. Like the kind that go through the neighborhoods with the...
No, the other ones. We did big events with those. We had trailers that opened up, and I did all hand-dipped ice cream.
Okay.
I was the only one back in '88 that started those two trucks.
Wow.
So we started there. We had a few restaurants throughout the day. We had dollar stores, and just been in it for too long.
So now you had the first food, the ice cream truck. When did you? How many seasons have you done Loaded Chicken now? As we get set to start this new season.
With the chicken truck, this is our fourth season.
Fourth season.
Yep.
And then did you do a truck before that, or is this your first foray into the? Now, I mean, there was obviously food trucks throughout the years, but it's really taken off in the last 5 to 10, 7.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I did a Euro truck the first year.
Okay.
And then we converted over and we started with the chicken. We just found that was
So
that was the
5 years.
niche.
So you did a year Euros, and then 4 seasons of food. So you've been a food truck in this round of it for about 5 years.
5 years. Yep.
So what made you start? You were in the restaurant, and what made you first say, you know what, food trucks are where it's at?
Well, honestly, about 10 years ago, we were looking at it. You always look out west, down south. You see what's going on, of course. And we just thought it was a neat opportunity. And we finally dove into it. It just worked out. It was our time.
And then you said, what made you pick Euros?
That was our first thing again, just looking at what was out there and what was not represented, per se in Toledo. So, we took that shot and we just decided that chicken was really the best way to go.
It's interesting, Mike, because I just completed one season with my truck, which is Queso Kitchen, and we wanted to. I was looking at where's there a niche? Where's there somewhere that I can get into? And I thought, well, there's a lot of Mexican trucks and whatever, but with queso, it gave me the flexibility of doing the burritos and tacos and nachos and all that stuff. But it also gave me the flexibility of doing fries and burgers.
Yeah, you do a lot of everything.
Right, exactly. So because it's just the queso is the base, as long as it's in all of it, it gave me a little more chance to pivot, and I figured I'd have more opportunity that way.
Right.
Anyone starting now, it's going to be hard to find a niche because everyone's doing everything now. It's pretty much. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
If you were going to start one now, what niche are you seeing out there that's not there?
Well, honestly, we were looking at getting another truck. Actually, we're launching the Loaded Cone, which is our new soft serve ice cream truck. But we were looking at a different food concept, and to be honest with you, there's a lot of good trucks out, that are already represented.
Right.
So it's been tough to look at it. We want to do sushi, but that's not my forte.
Sushi truck. That's interesting.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so you go, you do Euros, and not as successful as you thought it was going to be, or you just decided that chicken was
it. I mean,
how did you find that out?
It's really more asking people and looking around. See, I mean, not to toot our own horn, but we just do things different. Every day our chicken's delivered fresh. We make everything fresh. We hand batter everything. So just doing it right and staying tight with what we know, it just works.
That's one thing about the food truck business. You can get in with a pop-up tent, which is a couple grand. You can get in with a truck like yours that's 70, 80 grand, something like that. But on the upper end, you've got one of the nicer businesses and the trucks, and you look at Rosie's. They've got Rosie spent Phil spent a crap load of money on that. So, but there's such a wide range of ways to get in, and then you go top notch no matter what you do.
I just found that works. When we opened Monroe Street Diner, it was the same way. Just give them good food, good portions, good price, and they will come. Yeah. And thank God they have.
Yeah. So what is your specialty? Real quick, too, back to the Euros, one last thing. It's interesting how until you do it, you don't realize what you don't know. You just have to go and do it, and then you go through a season, you're like, oh, well, I would do this different. You find 10 or 100 things that you would have done different.
Well, I guess that's the key to success is you have to pivot and maneuver. I mean, if you don't have a good item on the menu, change it. It's okay. People want fresh anyway. And I think one of the downfalls of a lot of people are they stay with the same menu constantly. Now, of course, if it all sells, that's terrific. Right. But if it doesn't, you got to be willing to scrap it and come up with something fun and different again.
When you put the loaded chicken together, what did you consider the concept to be? Like what? Like I just want to put chicken on everything, or what did you say? This is our concept.
Well, I mean, honestly, when we first thought about it, I mean, I love chicken tenders, love them. So that's what we focused on. So chicken chunks, chicken tenders are our two main items. And if you've heard of Cane's, they're the same way. Chick-fil-A, same way. Get your core and exploit your core. So, and that's what we did. So I wanted fresh tenders. And then from there, we worked our mashed potato bowl, which is our number one seller. Okay. It's got mashed potatoes, corn. It's got our garlic Parmesan dressing on it, a big piece of chicken cut up on top, and then some cheese. So, I mean, that's our big one. Yeah. And so I wanted to stay with comfort food. I've always wanted to open a comfort food restaurant. So I took Monroe Street Diner from just a breakfast place and kept adding comfort food because no matter what, that's the roots. That's what people want.
Right. Okay. And so did you know going in that the potato bowl was going to be your biggest seller?
No doubt about it.
Really? You knew.
And I knew mac and cheese was different. So we created that bowl, and then our French fries were one of a kind with our French fries. Nobody in the city's got our French fries.
What makes them different?
I don't know, to be honest.
Really?
The cut is different.
You're for a fresh cut.
No.
But you found them. Okay.
I know one in the city's got them. It's a steak cut French fry, cut real thin, so they're paper thin. And
they're like flat fries.
Flat fries.
Yeah.
And they got a coating on them, and people just go crazy over them. So we created a bowl with the French fries.
Let me ask you, Mike, because did you find the fries first, or like did you come across it? Because when I go out and I find I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen this anywhere. I want to grab that. I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I'm going to work it. Did you know right away this is something, these flat fries?
I knew as soon as I tasted them, and they said no one carries them, that I had to have them. I want to be different. I mean, let's not be the same old truck. Let's try to do different. And so I think with the way we do stuff fresh, that alone sets us off because a lot of trucks can't do what we do, I guess.
And it's funny because in radio, because I did radio for so long, when you played music, you used to call them weapon tracks. You always look for songs, one or two or three that the other station wasn't playing. So, those would set you apart.
Exactly.
And same thing in food. Like I'm always looking for something that sets us apart where I can say, hey, we don't do what everyone else is doing. Right. And I think you have to have that mentality to stay in the game.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's a million trucks coming out and, the good part of COVID was it really brought to light what trucks really can do and the niche they needed to fill here. So, the company picnics, the wedding rehearsals now. So it was a niche that needed to be filled, and now it's advertised and it's exploding like it should have done.
Right. Well, and the great thing about trucks, I think, is that you can go to the business. Like I can park somewhere and sit there for a couple hours And if it's not hitting, well, I know there's 2 or 3 other places that I can go, and I don't have to stay there all day. I'm not a brick and mortar. I don't have to just sit in an empty restaurant. I'll move my restaurant where there's people. It's great flexibility.
Yeah, and when we first got into it, the first thing we said, I've always been in bricks and mortars with all my places. I said, man, I had to spend money to advertise to get them to come to me. Now I'm going to them. And so that's why we do all the big events in town. I mean, we're going to where the people are, and we're going to feed them.
Of course. What do you think is the difference, or why you're now? Because I booked some weddings. I know you do weddings, and you were talking about company picnics and things like that. Why are people wanting food trucks over just catering? Because they are.
Well, honestly, I mean, not to sound thing, but we're bringing it to them fresh and hot, and that's what people lack, and most caterers, which I understand their constraints, they can only put out certain amounts of food at a certain time, and a lot of people can do well with it, but there's certain items that just are not caterable.
You bring up a great point then, because if you're cooking it in your kitchen, wherever that is, and then you're boxing it up, and you're driving it there, then you're setting it up, and you're setting it up 2 hours before the event, and all you have is these little candles underneath. You can't get near the freshness. As if I'm bringing the kitchen to you, I'm cooking it right there to order, every order. And that's the difference. And that's probably why food trucks have exploded so quick, is because we're making it for you right there.
Yeah, and listen, it's all about variety. We're bringing something to them. It's hard to get a fresh cooked hamburger right where you're at. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so what do you think? It's not all glamorous. It's not all money. We talked about that before we started the show. Talk about people that wanting to get in. It's hard work, and people always say, "Oh my God, I want to." It's everyone's dream to start a food truck. It seems like.
Well, this year for sure.
I know. So many trucks. I know. So it's everyone's dream to start a food truck. What are the downsides, or what are your hours, or how hard of work is it?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's way harder than it seems. I mean, at least for us, I can only speak for us. I mean, like I said, we're there at 7 o'clock every morning. We're cooking, then pack everything up, clean, get to the event, cook, do all that. I mean, there was a stretch last year where we did 23 days in a row at 14, 15 hours a day. And we just have no choice. I mean, to do what we do, and so it's not like brick and mortar. I mean, yeah, they still have their prep. They still have to do what they got to do, but to pack it up and make it transportable, get there, then reheat, start it, do it fresh, go. It's tough.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. You know how.
I was burnt out by the end because, I mean, like you said, I think there were 3 months in a row, like maybe June, July, August, or whatever the biggest months are. We took 3 days off for the month, 3 or 4 days off for the month, and we were doing 2 events. So we'd start at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., like you said, and then we would go till 10, 11, maybe 12 at night, and then back up the next day and let's do it again. People don't see that part.
No,
they only see you serving and have fun. Maybe you work for 2 hours and then you drive off and then that's the end of it.
The magical truck. We pull in for a couple hours and we leave.
Well, the other thing is to clean up afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Do you do it there, or do you take it and do it where you park?
Both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we deep scrub. I mean, every day because we have grease flying everywhere.
I was just going to tell you, I think our trucks are harder because when you deal with grease, there's damn grease everywhere. Yeah. It's so annoying.
It is. And it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. That's true. Okay, so you talk about a second truck that you have this season, the loaded cone.
The loaded cone.
I know that, I don't know if you want to tell everyone, how long have you had the loaded cone ready? Like if you have the truck and
well, I mean,
how have you been dealing with the loaded cone?
Well, we had it built last year, got done in March, and we had some electrical issues. It just wasn't put together correctly, and we found the right person, and he's putting it back together. We got a monster generator for it, and she's ready to go.
Okay, we talked about the hole in the market, like where to fit. What made you decide on soft serve ice cream?
There's not one truck in the city with soft serve. You know, you remember the old guys that drove around, you know, with the what are they called? The soft serve king or something back in the day, Mr. Freeze or something.
Oh, I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah, there used to be a seltzer truck, but it's an expensive proposition. Of course, I learned that the hard way. But I always loved ice cream. I mean, that was my first spot, you know, 14 years old, Daryl's Ice Cream. So, you know.
And it seems like, from my experience from last year, there aren't enough dessert trucks. Everyone's always looking for a dessert truck. It seemed like to me, and there just weren't enough to fill the void. Would you agree?
100%. But again, now it's, if you look out, there's a whole bunch of them coming. There's a whole bunch of them coming. You know, and it's usually the cakes and stuff, you know, cake, cupcakes, that kind of stuff. And there's some great trucks out there.
But the difference of those, like we talked about, is they're making them off. They're just using the truck, the truck to sell. They're not cooking or baking on the truck.
Correct.
Of course, they don't have the same issue of like a caterer would, where it's not cold. It's not. It gets cold because they're serving it cold, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But there aren't a lot of trucks baking any sweets on premises.
I don't think you can, just for the sheer volume of what we, and you know what we get into is, you know, you have to do it. You have to do it right, and you have to do it fast. I mean, it's all about speed. You know, it's all about speed, and thank God we're set up for speed. And, you know, we do our thing.
I think if there was the biggest complaint that we get, it's not our food or food quality. It's our speed. Yeah. Because you know, like, we're making it fresh too, and we're still learning tricks and shortcuts to figure out how to cut the time down.
Right.
But you get a big line, and
hey, listen, you know, and I tell everybody the same thing. It's, you go to a restaurant, there's a reason it takes 20 minutes to get food. We've just figured out a way to get it out faster. So be patient as always, and we promise we'll serve you correct.
So when it's one thing you talked about was on your menu, hey, the things that sell, things that don't sell, you can always change it. What was something you thought was going to sell and didn't? Can you think of anything?
Again, blessed going into the fourth season. We've got a solid, stable base. I added a new one. It was called the Hot Honey Parmesan Chicken Sandwich. The sauce is outstanding. It's a hot honey, you know, so it's got sweet with a zing. But it didn't sell as well as I want. Now, the sauce did very well on our chunks. You know, they ordered it that way. So that will be one that I'm changing.
It's funny, Mike, because I had come up with this chicken sandwich. I called it the Cluck You. And anyone that tasted it said it was one of the best chicken sandwiches they'd ever had. And I was so excited. I'm like, this chicken sandwich is going to be huge. And you see the chicken sandwiches around the country, they're all the rage now.
Right.
And I'm like, this thing is going to sell like crazy. And it didn't. I would sell like 5 or 6 a week. I ended up pulling it off the menu. Now, there are some diehards that will ask for it, but I'm like, I don't have it anymore because no one was buying it. So that's what I thought for sure was going to sell, and it just didn't. Why do you think the chicken sandwiches didn't? Because it happens to be the same item.
Well, I think maybe for you, because you have so many different things that they just got to make their decision. You know, they walk up and they're still, people are like deer in headlights. They see a huge menu and they get screwed up. And I get it. That's why we only have 12 things on our menu, and it's all geared towards one thing.
So would you say the magic number for a truck is like 10 to 12, or does it just depend on truck by truck?
I mean, honestly, it depends on the truck. I know the barbecue trucks have a little bit less. You know, they're more in the, you know, the 3 or 4 main items and then sides. So, I mean, it really depends on the truck, you know, itself. But, you know, I mean, we're like kings. I always put myself like kings. They have one main item and they do it in 5 different ways and they're done.
What if you were to start a truck today in the Toledo area? What do you think there is? Are there any holes left? And if so, what would it be? What would you do?
Oh boy, that's a tough. I mean, like I said, I want to do sushi or some Chinese kind of truck. You know,
but actually, there's a great one out there, which I don't think that they market really well because I didn't know what they were. But it's just called, it's very generic, like rolling cuisine maybe or something like that. And they do the the fried rice, and then the noodles, and then you mix it up, and they put it in one of those like Chinese to-go containers. It's really good, but you wouldn't know it because it's very indescript of what they do.
Well,
So
that's all
even
on the
that's
owner.
taken. Well, yeah,
That's
you're
all
right.
the owner.
Right.
I mean, you push it, you can get it mainstream.
That's one thing with you too. I mean, your truck's colorful. It's got a great logo.
It's all about marketing.
Right. I was gonna say you've been doing this a long time. Did you have input on the logo, or did you just tell someone to make it?
No, I did
that's
it all. No,
you did it all?
Actually, because my partner Gary Jacob,
Brilliant restaurant story as well.
If you look at the two chickens that are on there, those are caricatures of me and him. So that's how it
Really?
Yeah, that's the inside story.
That's
to
awesome.
that one. Yeah. So if you look at the little portly guy with the slick back hair, we know it's Gary. He's gonna kill me.
I like it. I didn't realize that. Okay, so for those who've never tried the loaded chicken, tell us what the concept is. You've kind of told us, but like if you were to give like the elevator pitch to someone that's trying it for the first time, what is it? What do you serve?
Well, it's our homemade chicken chunks, chicken tenders, and we do it with comfort food around it. So you got phenomenal French fries, you got mac and cheese, you got mashed potatoes. We make them into a bowl, or we make them into this ginormous chicken sandwich. I put my chicken sandwich against anybody. Wink, wink. And we go from there. So, thank God, been very successful.
And then, do you have to make any changes from year to year? I know you make small changes, but do you ever worry that people are going to get tired of your food, or no?
Well, tired of it? I mean, I haven't seen. I mean, we've been every year we're going up. So I guess. You can't beat success at this point. If things change, I will change in the middle of a season. I don't care. You do what you got to do. But no, I mean, I think we have the right formula. And we're pushing forward.
Are you looking to add anything different to the truck, or you're like, this is it? We're successful. This is what we're doing. This is what we're known for.
I'm all about maintenance, so I'm always adding. I'm in ways to make it easier, make it I always tell my people work smart, not hard. So they're great about coming up with stuff. My right hand Tony, he's phenomenal at keeping me grounded, and we just do what we got to do.
You talked about the explosion of trucks especially during COVID over the last 2 years, and you and I were talking off the air. This year is going to be a huge explosion of more trucks. Is there a danger in oversaturating the market, or is there enough for everybody?
Well, I mean, I guess with the niche, I guess I'll answer it two ways. There's always enough, but it's only enough with the right people. There's going to be a lot of bad trucks that come out, and that is whether it's appearance or menu or just the owner. So those people always weed themselves out. We just take a little hit for it because they try to get in. But I think you'll see a lot more street trucks, sitting on corners. We all did very well at Douglas and Alexis. We hope
the old banner
mattress. So hopefully we can find another spot like that. People really love that.
It's funny. It just came together so organically.
Yeah.
Like it was a couple trucks, and then and then you never know. There might be one truck there. There might be 10 trucks there, because everyone kind of used that as a if you got nowhere else to go, you knew you could go to Banner, and you knew you could make money there, and people would come. And I've tried to recreate that in a couple spots, but for some reason the magic of that spot is just worked. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the area during COVID. We sat on Lasky Road, and we did very well. So we had a little home base advantage that when we finally started going back over there.
So you'd already built the crowd in that region, so they knew to come.
And it's a great crowd, man. They support local. They're great people out there, and so that's what made it successful. It's sad that that they sold the place. So I mean,
and for those that don't know, that Banner Mattress is going to go away in the next few weeks. They've been talking about it for a few, but I mean, you can see them taking steps to where it's going to go away. Can you organically find another? Can you force another spot, or how does that? Because here's my problem. So I tried to find a spot in Maumee. And I found a spot. I found a spot in Maumee at the church. They were very nice. But a couple things. Someone said that Maumee is not great food truck supporting town. So I don't know if that's true, but also I know that I have like 3 or 4 trucks there, but the trucks are only going to give it a couple weeks. If they're not making money, they're going to have to go somewhere else.
Right.
So how do you start up another spot like a banner?
Well, I think we got lucky because El Padrino and Wild Waffles were the first 2 there, and they fought through that little difficult part. But again, the neighborhood has been so supportive that it was real easy that the more we started adding trucks, the more it got busier and busier.
And the people, maybe it's different from other businesses. The more trucks, the better. It's not really
100%.
Right.
You know, and it's funny. I always say that I know there's another chicken truck starting there. You know, everybody adds chicken to their menu. I've never been like scared of competition. I mean, I think all it does is increase my brand. You know, and that's how I look at it. I mean, the more people want chicken, you see Cane's is coming to town. Chick-fil-A's doing a phenomenal, job with what they do.
I know.
You know, so yeah, the chicken wars are out there. Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's.
Right.
I mean, so I guess are they my competition? No, I think they just add to my brand.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think too, wherever you're at, they're going to get chicken, and they're going to see you, and they're going to want to go. They're not going to travel across town to go to Chick-fil-A. Everyone's going to have their piece, I think everyone. It's like the Central Avenue Strip where all the car dealers are. They all go in the same place. They're all in competition, but they're all in the same place, so that people are going to come, and then everyone's going to get their piece off that. And it's kind of the same way with the Alexis.
Well, that's part of the whole niche thing that food trucks fill. I mean, you can't, if you go to the concerts downtown on Friday night. I mean, are you going to go? But if there's food, you want to eat. If there's no food, you're gonna disperse pretty quick. It keeps them there. Food, I think, is a big staple for Perrysburg Farmers Market, for all the markets. They need food
because then that's going to keep them there longer, and then shop more, and hit more of the other vendors.
Correct. And I don't think. I know a lot of the restaurant guys are a little concerned about it, and I really think it's opposite. I think that food trucks attract as well as their business, and even if there's overflow, you win.
Okay, so let's address that, because there are some communities that are hostile to food trucks, and it's being pushed by the restaurant owners in those towns. But you think that the restaurant owners are wrong?
Well, no. I go back to what I said earlier. The bottom line is that competition is not bad. All that should do is make you better. I mean, if people are coming, grab them. Do what you got to do to grab people instead of worrying about who's in front of you. Don't worry about who's in front of you. Grab who you can grab. That's what it's all about. I mean, the best food truck wins as the best restaurant wins. So be the best.
Right. What about we're talking about little towns? What about these little towns now? They're all having their own. They all want their own. The governments want their own piece of the pie. So now you got to register. It's not just statewide where you get a food license that's statewide, but then every municipality wants you now to check in and pay your $100 or $200, and then there's more coming online.
I think the worst part about all that is that of course, the city of Toledo is the godfather where we operate.
Sure.
So why I don't understand why the little municipalities, Monclova, Maumee, those areas around there, I'm not picking on anybody, Sylvania, why they don't take the fire inspectors word for it. Why don't they take the health department's word for it? And let it, even if we got to pay, I'm fine with it. It's cool. Everybody wants their money, but
it's the hassle of you're so busy now. You have to go to the fire department.
We have to drive to every single place. We have to fill out paperwork to every single place. Just let me write you one check and call it a day.
That is a great idea, Gary. Because
Gary,
sorry,
it's a great idea, Mike.
It's over. That's right. No, it's a great idea, Mike. Because if everyone wants their money, fine. Just don't dog and pony show us. We don't have time when in our busy season. Hey, if you need 100, 150, 200 bucks to work in your community, fine. We got we went through all the hoops through Toledo. Right. We got the food license. We got the fire inspection. We did all that stuff. We got the sticker. So now just hey, we'll pay you. I have no problem paying you.
Yeah, and they just listen. They deserve it. I mean,
you're business insurance. Absolutely.
Just let us prove we have insurance. We carry. You got to carry the best of the best.
Right.
And
that's a great point.
Yeah.
What about food costs going up?
You're gonna ruin it.
Especially a chicken. Do you pass that on to the consumer? Do you not pass it on? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, listen, in every business, I mean, we're all here to make money. Now, it just depends on the level of how much you want to make. You know, everybody always says, "Oh, food trucks are so much more." And honestly, if you really look at it, we're not. We're really not. You know, I mean, we had to pass on a little bit of cost at the end of the season last year, and I'm looking at the menu now to see where we're going to be. And, you know, like anything, once prices go up, it's rare they come down. And so I know chicken's still out of control. And actually, the side stuff, the sauces, the mac and cheese, you know, the ingredients to make everything is what's out of control.
Right.
So, I mean, everybody's expecting prices to increase. And the sad part is they should, you know, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as everybody thinks it's going to be. I mean, yeah, you got to pass a little, but we eat a little bit too.
So you eat some, consume some.
Sure.
So it's not as big a burden on.
Oh no, we're not going up. You know, no trucks are going up $5 an item just because prices are through the roof. No, it's not like that.
50 cents a dollar,
That's
something like that.
Yeah, the normal cost of the cost of goods.
And someone wanting to get into the food truck business, what's the number? What's the number one piece of advice you give besides run?
Run faster.
Right.
You know, be creative. Don't be scared to spend money. It's your business. You know, I mean, that's always how I felt. I have the most expensive places just to brag. I mean, you spend, it's images, everything, and you know, again, you go from there.
And what about for you? What's like the biggest highlight of the last 4 years, and the biggest low light?
Well, I mean, low light is help. You know, I've got phenomenal people, but man, I don't know. Listen, it's a great job. It really is. You get in there. I mean, we pay well.
Travel to city to talk to people.
You go in, you bust it out, and you run home, and you make money, and you know, and tips, of course. You know, everybody's been, oh my God, phenomenal with that part of it.
Yeah.
And so my people share, and they make great money. It's just you got to find the right ones that want to stay. You know, of course, anybody out there that wants a job, just let me know.
Well, and I think the other hard part too, probably, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is with it being seasonal. Then you know they have to go find another job, and then you have to hope that they're going to be available the next season.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what it is.
Like you were talking about one of your guys,
my guy Tony. My right hand man.
What do you do with him in the off season?
Well, I'm blessed because of Monroe Street Diner. I put him over there. He works with Gail all the time, and then bam, he comes right back to me.
That's great. Yeah. You have a place to park him.
I got several places to park people.
Right.
So, for me, I get you somewhere else.
Okay.
That's what I do. I take care of them.
Well, that's maybe one of the advantages the other trucks do not have.
Correct.
Is because, like I said, the season you have to let them go, and then they find like I had my English guy all last season. You know, he found a painting job in the off season, so you know I'm without him this season, so I gotta.
Oh, he's not coming back.
No, I know. That's what you're saying. I know. Well, I might be able. He loves doing it, so maybe I can get him back. But you know, he makes good money painting, and it's year round, and blah 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 blah.
I mean, that's honestly the low. I don't say low,
but
that's the worst part about this, and I'm sure for everyone, labor. You know, that's the high point is, oh my God, travel. You're out in the sun. I get dark every year.
You go to all the fun events,
all the fun
music.
Events, everything you got, it's there, and that's what makes it so good.
And how many people does it take to run your truck?
My truck usually a minimum of 4.
Minimum 4.
That's the hard part.
Wow.
Plus the prep.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm a bigger operation than I wish I was, but yeah.
Is there anything you can do to cut? Like I if I'm going to a festival, I probably need 3 or 4 for sure. But I try to run with 2, and there's times where it's just me. Like in the winter and it's slow, and you can't find people.
Yeah.
I run but you get 4 or 5 orders in. And it's a pain in the ass, and they're waiting too long, and it's just.
Well, you know what? Listen, and again, whether it's my downfall or not, I want great service, so I pay the extra. I pay my people terrific, because I want people in and out of my lines. I want them to be satisfied. So, and again, just speaking for myself. So yeah, you do what you can.
Nice for people.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to pay. You got to pay. This isn't a $10 an hour job anymore.
No, you're right.
It's not there.
No. Minimum wage now is basically $15.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much $15. That's where you got to be. All right. Final thoughts, Mike?
Looking forward to another great season. We're going to start probably the first week of May. I think Perrysburg starts, Perrysburg Farmers Market starts first week of May. So I usually gear myself around the start there.
I'm hoping to be in the financial position to not have to work the winter anymore. It's just too hard.
I love being off, bro.
It's too hard.
I love it.
We've run this whole winter. And between it really, for the money you make and the work you put in and the stress you put on the truck, because it's not, it's not made to run out in that weather. Yeah, I plan on taking. I'm not going till May because I'm not rich like you, but I am going to take.
I go May till November.
Okay,
so I'm 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. Must be nice.
It is nice.
Thank you, Mike, man. I appreciate it.
Brother,
It is our very first guest on the very first episode of the official Food Truck Podcast. And it's Mike Francis, the Loaded Chicken. Look for him out this season in the Toledo, Ohio area. I'm Andrew Z. This show produced by Blue Hippo Media.